Welcome to Daily Stoic Moments, where we bring the timeless wisdom of Stoicism into your daily life. In today's video, we'll explore powerful lessons to help you master your emotions and face challenges with clarity and resilience. Through inspiring real-life stories, we'll uncover how focusing on what you can control, acting with reason, and practicing gratitude can transform your mindset. Let's dive into these Stoic insights and discover how they can inspire your journey to inner peace. In the busy streets of Berlin, Thomas, the CEO of a tech startup, was preparing for an important meeting with potential investors. Everything had been meticulously planned for months. His team had worked tirelessly to create a flawless presentation, complete with detailed statistics, growth plans, and promising strategies. However, just as the meeting was about to start, the projector malfunctioned, and the presentation could not be shown on the screen. The tension was palpable, and Thomas could feel the growing disappointment from the investors. Despite the mounting pressure, instead of panicking, Thomas took a deep breath and reminded himself of the Stoic principle. Focus only on what you can control. He decided not to let the technical failure derail the meeting. Instead, Thomas focused on his communication skills and began explaining the company's vision and potential with confidence. Without visuals, his clear and compelling verbal presentation impressed the investors, and in the end, they decided to fund his company. Thomas learned that while unforeseen challenges are inevitable, how we react to them is entirely in our control. In New York, Emma, a young doctor just out of medical school, found herself in a high-pressure situation at the hospital. During a complex surgery, one of her colleagues publicly criticized her decision in front of the team. The criticism was sharp, and Emma felt personally attacked. Anger surged within her, and she instinctively wanted to defend herself. But before responding, Emma paused. She remembered the Stoic principle of not letting emotions drive immediate reactions. She excused herself from the operating room and stepped into the quiet hallway, taking a moment to breathe deeply. After several minutes of reflection, Emma returned with a clearer mind. She calmly explained her rationale behind the decision, supported by medical facts. Her colleague, after hearing her out, acknowledged that Emma's approach had merit. Emma realized that sometimes stepping back to let emotions settle is the best way to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. David, a financial advisor in London, received an email from a major client who was upset about the recent investment portfolio he had recommended. Despite the market volatility, David's client blamed him for the poor returns. David immediately felt a wave of disappointment and frustration. However, instead of letting these emotions dictate his next steps, he decided to apply the Stoic lesson of recognizing that emotions are temporary. He took a break from his desk and went for a walk outside. As he strolled through the streets of London, David reminded himself that the anger and frustration he felt would pass. When he returned to his office, he approached the situation with a fresh perspective. He analyzed the portfolio, gathered more data, and sent the client a detailed response, explaining the rationale behind his choices and offering possible adjustments. David learned that emotions are fleeting and that rational thinking and a calm response were more effective than letting frustration control his actions. Act on reason, not emotion. In a high-stakes meeting in Milan, Isabella, the head of a large department at a multinational corporation, faced a public reprimand from a colleague. The colleague was dissatisfied with her management of a key project and voiced his concerns in front of the entire team. Isabella could feel the sting of his words and was tempted to react defensively, but then she remembered the Stoic teaching to act on reason, not emotion. She took a deep breath and decided to remain composed. Instead of launching into a defensive argument, she calmly outlined the reasons behind her decisions, presenting data and evidence to back her approach. Her colleague, though initially harsh, was eventually persuaded by Isabella's logical explanations. Isabella learned that remaining calm and reasoning through a situation often leads to a better outcome than reacting impulsively. Don't judge others' emotions. Lena, a psychologist in Paris, encountered a particularly challenging case when she began working with Mark, a patient in the midst of a personal crisis. Mark had recently gone through a painful breakup and was struggling with feelings of worthlessness. Lena could sense the deep pain in his words, but instead of rushing to offer solutions or judgments about his emotions, she chose to simply listen. She understood that the Stoic principle of not judging others' emotions could be a key part of the healing process. As the sessions continued, Lena encouraged Mark to express his feelings without fear of judgment. Over time, Mark began to reflect on his life and realized that while the breakup was painful, it didn't define his worth. Lena learned that by creating a safe space for Mark to process his emotions without judgment, she helped him regain his sense of control and perspective. Don't let others' emotions affect you. At a startup in Copenhagen, Lucas, the CEO, was in the middle of an important negotiation with a major partner. During the meeting, the partner became increasingly frustrated, criticizing Lucas's approach to certain business decisions. The partner's anger was palpable, and it started to make Lucas uncomfortable. However, Lucas kept his composure. He remembered the Stoic idea of not allowing the emotions of others to dictate your own feelings. Rather than getting defensive or trying to match the partner's emotional energy, Lucas took a calm approach and responded with measured, logical points. Over the course of the meeting, his rational demeanor helped to diffuse the tension. The partner, though initially upset, began to see the logic in Lucas's strategy. By the end of the meeting, they had reached an agreement. Lucas learned that staying true to his own emotions, instead of letting others' reactions control him, was crucial in business and leadership. Change your perspective. In a small town in Italy, Maria, a graphic designer, struggled to gain recognition for her work. Despite pouring her heart into every project, she often felt overlooked and undervalued. One day, Maria received feedback from a difficult client who was unsatisfied with the design of a project she had worked on for weeks. She felt a wave of frustration and disappointment wash over her, but instead of letting these feelings take over, she decided to change her perspective. Drawing on Stoic teachings, Maria realized that every challenge was an opportunity for growth. Rather than viewing the criticism as a personal failure, she saw it as a chance to refine her craft. After reworking the design and presenting it again with improvements, the client was impressed. Maria learned that the path to success was not about avoiding criticism, but about using it to improve and move forward. Practice gratitude for what you have. In the bustling city of Tokyo, Kenji, an ambitious young engineer, often found himself frustrated with his career progress. He dreamed of climbing the corporate ladder quickly, but his progress seemed slower than expected. One evening, while meeting an old friend, Kenji learned that his friend had recently been diagnosed with a serious illness and had lost his job. The news struck Kenji deeply, and he realized how much he had to be grateful for. Despite his frustrations, he had a stable job, good health, and a supportive family. Kenji took this moment to reflect on the Stoic lesson of gratitude for what you have. Instead of focusing on what he lacked, he started appreciating the opportunities and blessings in his life. This shift in perspective helped him approach his work with renewed energy and a sense of contentment. Persist with small changes. Sofia, a teacher in Barcelona, had been struggling with her health for some time. She knew that her hectic schedule and lack of exercise were taking a toll on her energy levels. One day, after a conversation with a colleague about self-care, Sofia decided to make some small changes to her routine. She started walking for 15 minutes every morning and made an effort to eat healthier. At first, the changes seemed insignificant, but over time, Sofia began to notice improvements. She felt more energized, focused, and optimistic. As the months passed, the small changes she had made grew into a significant transformation. Sofia learned that, like the Stoic principle of persistence, small, consistent efforts lead to great results over time. Control your reaction to adversity. In a quiet cafe in Amsterdam, Nathan, a writer, received an email from his publisher informing him that the book proposal he had worked on for months was rejected. The news hit him hard, and for a moment he felt a wave of disappointment and self-doubt. However, instead of letting the rejection define him, Nathan took a deep breath and remembered the Stoic idea that adversity is an opportunity for growth. He spent the next few days revising the manuscript, improving areas that needed work, and preparing to submit it to other publishers. Nathan soon received positive feedback from a new publisher, and his book was eventually accepted. He realized that how we respond to setbacks determines our future success. In today's video, we explored valuable lessons from Stoicism, from focusing on what you can control and acting with reason to practicing gratitude and turning challenges into opportunities for growth. I hope these stories and insights have inspired you to master your emotions and live a more meaningful life. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Daily Stoic Moments, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this video with friends or anyone seeking peace and wisdom in their lives. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.